So we'll go ahead and close that. We'll finally come to the quotes portion here, and we will launch the quotes menu by clicking on the quotes button, and that brings you to the print customer quotes here. Folks, this is another very robust and powerful area of the application, and what this does is it allows you to select a job that you have estimated and print out a quote that can be mailed or emailed to your customer. As you can see here in the top left corner, we have the different jobs that are currently in the system. Test job, which is what we created in the demo, and the clone from test job, which is what we created right after. And as we can see, when we click on a job, it displays the appropriate information on the right side just to make sure we can identify the specific job that we want to print. For our example here, I'll go ahead and choose the test job. And just folks, just to point out, within the test job, you can choose specific buildings that you want to print or a specific building that you want to print the quote for. So for example, if you have two buildings, A and B, in this job here, and we just want to print the quote for building A or building B, we can do that, or we can select both by pressing the control button and selecting both. And at this point, we have three different options here. We have the building wise breakout, the composite by job, and the individual building option. The building wise breakout basically breaks out the quote for each building separately, and the composite by job basically aggregates the dimensions and values for all the. So if the customer is not interested in seeing the individual breakout for each structure or building, they can click on composite and just have the final values for the entire job, irrespective of how many buildings and or structures there are. Then obviously we have the third option, which is the individual building, and here's where you can actually print a single quote for a single structure and print all quotes separately, keeping everything distinct. We will now choose the clone job that we just created, and as you can see, we have that chosen here, and that shows the two buildings, A and B, and we will go ahead and click on the building wise breakout to generate the quote, and that will bring up the quote in a Word format. As you can see, we have our two buildings here, and we have the quotes. We'll go ahead and also do that same job, but we'll do a composite by job at this moment and click on get quote, and that again opens the quote in the Word document. As we can see, this time it's a composite quotation, and we can scroll from top to bottom. As you can see, the total cost at the very end. We'll go ahead and do that, and we can do an individual building quote as well. Click on get quote, and the system prompts you for this. You're supposed to be selecting only one building at a time. So we'll go ahead and select building A and do our individual building quote and click on that, and that brings up the quote in a Word format. As you can see, same quote but just structured or broken out separately by the individual building that we selected. So that is the quote system, which basically gives you the options to be able to print a quote in different formats as in how desired by you or your customer. We'll go ahead and close that, and we're back at the main menu.